It stands stoic in the western Italian sun, the sound of cameras and tourists from almost every country you can imagine striking the imaginary pose of trying to hold up a falling building. The smell of an authentic Italian restaurant less than 100 yards away tingles your nose and whets your appetite. The breeze from the ocean that is less than 30 minutes away blows in your face from the west. A string of souvenir shops that extend for at least a half a mile are selling miniature figurines lining the plaza. Construction took 177 years to complete, and yet it gets over 2 million visitors a year. I have learned a lot from my research on my speech and from my personal visit to this site. Today, I would like to inform you about the Leaning Tower of Pisa, why it was built, when it was built, why it leans, and what it is that attracts millions every year. Let's start with why the Leaning Tower of Pisa was built. The Bell Tower of Pisa, the original name, was built to show the rest of the world the wealth of the city of Pisa. The people of Pisa were very good sailors, and they conquered many lands, but they had only one real enemy, the people from Florence. To show how well they were doing, they started to build a bell tower to go with the rest of the buildings near it, the cathedral, the baptistry, and the cemetery. Now that you know why the Leaning Tower of Pisa was built, we will talk about when it was constructed and why it leans. On August 9th, 1173, the foundations of the tower were laid, and thus began the construction of the Bell Tower of Pisa, the original name. The construction of this tower took 177 years to complete, because every time they had a war with Florence, construction would stop and Pisa would put all their money into welfare, a total of 4 times. In 1185, after the completion of the first, second, and third floors and the first 2 wars with Florence, the tower began leaning. At that point, the people started referring to it as the Leaning Tower. What caused the tower to lean? The tower began to lean because the side that was sunken under the earth was built on wet clay, and when the weight became too great, it started to sink, thus becoming the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Amazingly, the pauses in construction because of these wars gave time for the wet clay to dry, or the tower would have toppled over. In 1319, they finished all the floors, and finally they put the bell tower on top of it in 1350. The tower now stands 8 stories tall, 183 feet high. It's white marble gleaming with sunshine. Something that surprised me when I first saw it. I did not expect such an old building to be so bright. I expected to see a building dark and faded in a lot of areas from time and erosion. If I had not known better, I would have thought it was a newly built erection. Now let's talk about what makes the Leaning Tower of Pisa such a world-renowned attraction. Over 2 million people visit yearly to Pisa, mostly to see the Leaning Tower. So you ask yourself, why? Just a Leaning Tower? Well, here's the answer. People are drawn to the imperfection. If it was straight, it would be just another tower. Just like if the Liberty Bell had no crack, it would be just another bell. The imperfections give it character and make it unique. There are other leaning towers out there, leaning from an artistical design, but the Leaning Tower of Pisa is the original, not by design, but by accident. And because of its uniqueness, it is a site a lot of people have put on their bucket list. As I have explained, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is a global attraction that millions want to see. I have also explained the building of the tower and the time it took so long to build. Being a tourist, I have also described in my introduction my own experience of visiting the Leaning Tower. I really hope that a lot of you, my audience, will get a chance to visit the Leaning Tower of Pisa, a truly remarkable sight. Thank you.